Josh, very good to see you. We are diving into the headlines today. We're going to talk through what the big, beautiful bill means for your retirement. Washington recently passed what President Trump is calling the big, beautiful bill, which could reshape retirement planning for millions of Americans. So we're going to break down what this new legislation means for retirees and those nearing retirement. But let's just start with big picture. What are our key takeaways?
Well, the big thing for retirees is that the 2017 tax cuts have been extended permanently, or at least until somebody changes the law again.
Right.
Which the huge part for that is that extends our window for Roth conversions, and that's always our favorite topic on all these meetings. Erin, is the value of the Roth conversion, and we've been rushing around trying to get these Roth conversions done before 2026 because we're afraid tax brackets were going up. So we know at least for the foreseeable future, these tax brackets have been extended, which extends our timeline for Roth conversions and helps out with that to help people try to do it in lower tax brackets.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to dive into those details with you a little bit later, but I want to tick through a few more questions first. For people already in retirement, what parts of the bill should they be paying close attention to? Because a lot of people receive that email from the Social Security Administration, and some of those headlines were confusing regarding what's going to be taxed. And can you just explain what's changing with Social Security and taxes specifically?
Yeah, unfortunately, we did not just eliminate taxes on Social Security like a lot of retirees had hoped for.
Right.
What we got is an extra $6,000 on your standard deduction.
Okay.
So for those of you that are filing long form, it didn't help you at all. But for most Americans who are not filing long form, they get an extra $6,000 on their standard deduction, so long as you're not what they call a high income earner. So singles under $75,000 and married couples under $150,000 will get the full $6,000 extra standard deduction if you're over 65 years old. Now that phases out above those ages, and if you are single and you reach 175,000 in taxable earnings, or a married couple when you reach $250,000 of taxable earnings, that extra $6,000 standard deduction completely phases out.
Okay.
Right. So essentially what this means is your Social Security taxation is calculated the exact same way, and they get to what's called your adjusted gross income, but you get a $6,000 more deduction off of your income. So $6,000 of your total income that used to be taxable is not going to be taxable in the future if you're over 65 and you meet those income limits we talked about.
Okay. So that brings us to the next question, which is, should this change how retirees, pre-retirees are saving for retirement or when they're claiming Social Security?
Actually, no, it doesn't really make a big change on the planning. It makes a big, it helps out a little bit. Your taxes are going to go down slightly, but you got to think, $6,000, even if you're in a 20% tax bracket, that's only saving you $1,200 a year on your taxes, right? It's not going to change your retirement planning. Now, should we be grateful that we're not paying $1,200 a year in tax? Yes, awesome. That's great, but it's really not going to change the grand scheme of your retirement plan. And Social Security is obviously, for most Americans, the cornerstone of their retirement plan. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of, I think only 4% of people claiming Social Security get the maximum out of Social Security because they don't really pay attention to the math when they're figuring out when to claim and what's the optimal time to claim. So those things are still very, very important. Unfortunately, the big, beautiful bill doesn't change a lot for planning. It doesn't give us any awesome planning opportunities.
Right. Except for those Roth conversions, which you mentioned.
Roth conversions, yes.
So I do want to dive into that just for a second, because it's worth spelling out for people that essentially this runway has been extended. We are living in a historically low tax rate right now, Josh, and that rate essentially now, at least we know the runway's been extended. So explain why a Roth conversion makes sense right now.
Well, Roth conversion makes sense right now because you're deciding when and how much taxes you're going to pay versus the IRS deciding when and how much taxes you're going to pay. And the thing we've got to remember is we've been taught our tax planning by the wrong people. The IRS taught us our tax planning, and that's not really who we want to take our tax planning information from. The big thing you got to think about is you didn't put $100 into your traditional IRA 30 years ago so you could pull out $100 today. You put $100 in 30 years ago so you could pull out thousands of dollars today, which means you didn't pay taxes on $100 then, and you're going to pay taxes on thousands of dollars now. And the longer we wait, those thousands grow and grow and grow, and Uncle Sam's portion of your 401k, your IRA, just keeps getting bigger.
Right.
So we want to get out of partnership with the IRS. We want to kick them out of our accounts. And how we do that is by go ahead and paying them their portion as fast as we can in an economical way and get them off the books so that all the money in our accounts is actually ours and we don't owe them anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right. Especially because we can safely assume our nation's debt will be higher by the time we're ready to retire. And at some point, these taxes will have to be raised.
Yes. And I ask people every day, do they think taxes will be less in the future? And I've yet to find one person that says they do.
Yeah.
Nobody believes taxes are going to be less in the future.
Right. Well, I'm really glad we were able to talk this through, Josh, especially because this is essentially breaking news by the time you and I are meeting. But I think a lot of people would appreciate being able to sit down with you to learn more specifically about how these changes could or will affect them. So what's the best way to reach you with questions?
Yeah, they can call us at the office at 260-488-8300 or jump on the website at millardfg.com and schedule a meeting.
Great. Josh, thank you.
Thanks.